Welcome to Master Your Money, a channel that empowers you to take control of your finances and unlock your income potential.
You know, if you're carrying debt, the biggest enemy isn't just the interest rate, is it? It's that awful, nagging feeling that you'll never be free. Well, today, we're going to settle the great debate in debt repayment once and for all. Snowball versus ladder. The real question isn't which one looks better on a spreadsheet, it's which one actually works in the real world. Okay, let's get into it. And this right here, this is the key to our entire conversation. We're starting with this quote because getting out of debt has way less to do with being a math genius and everything to do with understanding your own brain. It's about what you do, not just what you know. So here's our game plan. We'll kick things off with that 80-20 rule. Then we'll jump into the big showdown, math versus momentum. After that, we'll dive into the science of why we sometimes get in our own way, introduce a pretty cool solution from ancient Greece, and then, finally, map out your personal path to freedom. All right, let's get into our first section, the 80-20 money rule. See, before you can even think about the how of paying off debt, you really have to understand the why, as in why you're in the financial situation you're in right now. This is seriously the most important first step. It's all about being brutally honest with yourself. What are the habits, the triggers, the stories you tell yourself about money? Once you really get a handle on your why, you can start to consciously build a new mindset, one that actually leads to real, lasting financial confidence. Okay, time for the main event. You've got debt and you want it gone. Simple enough, right? Well, there are two major strategies that everyone talks about, and honestly, they appeal to completely different parts of your brain. So on one side, you have what's called the ladder method. Sometimes people call it the avalanche. This is the choice for the math whiz inside you. It's totally logical. You list out all your debts by interest rate from highest to lowest, and you throw every extra penny at that top one. It will, without a doubt, save you the most money in interest charges over time. But then there's the snowball. With this one, you kind of ignore the interest rates and you go after the smallest debt balance first. The goal here isn't mathematical perfection, it's all about psychological momentum. This table really breaks it down, doesn't it? The ladder is for the calculator in your head. It's efficient, called, perfectly logical. But let's be real, we're humans, not calculators. The snowball, on the other hand, is for the human part of you, the part that thrives on wins. See, crossing a debt completely off your list, no matter how small, gives your brain a little hit of dopamine. It proves to you that winning is possible. And that feeling, that momentum, becomes the fuel that keeps you going. So you might be thinking, if the ladder method is so mathematically perfect, why doesn't everybody just do that? Well, it's a great question, and the answer is, our brains often have other plans. Let's look at the actual science of why even our best intentions can totally fall apart. The big culprit here is a little something called present bias, and it has a massive impact on our financial lives. Basically, it's our brain's built-in preference for instant gratification. It's the reason why ordering takeout tonight feels so much better than putting that same $30 into a retirement account you won't touch for 30 years. That powerful desire for a reward right now makes long-term goals incredibly challenging to stick with. And present bias loves to team up with its partner in crime, emotional spending. You know how it is? We're stressed, we're tired, we're bored, and our brain starts screaming for a quick fix. And that's where retail therapy comes in. It's a very real, but very short-lived chemical high you get from buying something. But it directly torpedoes your long-term goal of being debt-free. The big takeaway here is that you're not just fighting numbers on a page. You are in a battle with your own brain chemistry. So how do we fight back? How do we possibly protect our long-term goals from our own short-term impulses? Well, believe it or not, the answer comes from a story that's about 3,000 years old. As the story goes, the hero Ulysses had to sail his ship past the island of the Sirens. Their song was so beautiful, so irresistible, that it would lure any sailor to crash their ship on the rocks. But Ulysses, he wanted to hear the song, so he came up with this brilliant plan. He had his crew plug their ears with beeswax, and then he ordered them to tie him as tightly as possible to the ship's mast. His one command was, "No matter how much I beg or scream, do not untie me." And guess what? He heard the song, and he survived. And that story perfectly illustrates what we now call a Ulysses Pact, or Ulysses Contract. It's a pre-commitment. It's a decision you make now, when you're strong and clear-headed, to prevent your future, weaker self from making a bad call later. You're basically tying your own hands to the mast to get past financial temptation. You automate the good decisions. You don't even have to rely on willpower. This is so important. The strategy isn't about punishing yourself, not at all. It's about creating systems that actually support your goals. It's about setting up your life so that the easiest thing to do is also the right thing to do. So how do you make your own Ulysses contract? It's actually pretty simple. Step 1, pick your path. Decide if you're a snowball person who needs the motivation or a ladder person who wants the math. Step 2, and this is the absolute non-negotiable part, you automate everything. Set up automatic payments to go towards your debt the very day you get paid. This takes willpower completely out of the picture. And third, find some accountability. Tell a friend, your partner, someone you trust, what your goal is. That little bit of external support can be the very thing that keeps you on track when you feel like giving up. Okay, let's bring this all home. We've talked about the psychology, we've broken down the strategies, and we have a 3,000-year-old trick to make it all stick. Now it's time to build your path to freedom. So what's the game plan from here? First, always remember, this is 80% behavior. Second, choose a plan that actually fits your brain. Do you need the momentum of the snowball or the pure logic of the ladder? Third, you have to know your enemy, that sneaky present bias that wants you to choose now over later. And finally, build your fortress, a Ulysses contract that automates your success and makes it almost inevitable. And really, it all comes down to this one final question. What's the point of all this anyway? Is it to have the most mathematically perfect, optimized debt repayment plan in the history of finance? Or is it to actually finally become debt-free? And that's the bottom line. Please don't let the search for the perfect plan get in the way of just getting it done. The best strategy, the only one that actually matters, is the one you will stick with all the way to the end. So choose your path, tie yourself to that mast, and go get your freedom.